Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm looking right now at one of my house plants, and what I did was I had my husband cut it. As you can see, it's getting very tall, and in my house I do not have those very high ceilings. I've cut this plant before. This is the second time I'm cutting it. Right now I can't remember if it was the top part or the bottom part that I put back in the soil and my plant came back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put both of them back in the same pot, because I really don't want this section right here, but I'm afraid that if I don't keep this section, the bottom part, with the roots, that I may end up losing my plants, because I want this to put, I only want this section right here. I want to put this part back into the soil and see if I can get it to root, because this is, I believe, the second time or the third time. One time it broke, so the second time that I have cut it. I've cut it before, and as you can see, this thing was growing very crooked in the pot, and it was outside this summer for the first time. But as you can see, it's very tall, but it was not only just tall, it was growing very crooked. So when we brought it into the house a little while ago, it was really tilted to one side, turning over the pot. So I told my husband I'm going to have to cut it. So I cut it again, and I'm going to see if I can get this thing to root. And so that's what I do when my plants get too tall. I cut them down. I have cut down others, and I'll show those to you in this video. But when they get too tall or too heavy for the pot, because you only have so much space in my house, so I sort of cut them down and try to keep my original plant, or have them bud on the original stem. But this stem right here look at it. It is tilted and it is twisted. And I'm trying to figure out if this was the part that I put back into the ground. I have this feeling that this was the part I put back into the ground. But I can't remember why it was tilted or twisted this way. And I know that at one point, this plant right here was over 7 feet tall in my house. So it was touching the ceiling and it was bending, because it used to be straight. So I'm not quite sure. But this part here, I think may have been this from the previous cutting, but I'm hoping it is, because I want to keep this section here and have this part root again. And if this was this, then I have a chance of success. But if this thing here is not that, as it was when I did the last cutting, then I'm going to keep this part here so that it will bud again. And then I'm going to remove, and then I'm going to see if I could get this thing to grow straight. So what I did was I used the tape root, and I coated the bottom part here of the plant. If you can see it, I coated the bottom part with the tape root, the rooting system, the rooting hormone. So I'm hoping that this will help it grow roots quicker. And then I poured some into, not too much though, into the soil to help it along. Maybe the sides or something will help root the sides. But I did use this, and I covered the bottom of this with it just to help it along some. But I'm going to place it into the soil now, and then give it a couple weeks, and then see what happens. I'm hoping this will root though, and if not, I'm hoping that this part here will bud again, and then I will find a way to position this part into the pot to make it straight. Also, before I forget, I did use fertilizer, the fish emulsion fertilizer in the soil to help the leaves grow, just to help it with its growth. So it is soaked with fertilizer, and I didn't do it yet, but I'm going to spray it with the neem oil, because I do see bugs on here. And I did spray, but that was a week ago, and it was still outside. So I'm going to spray again and bring it indoors. But this is it, and one of them will grow. I'm just hoping it is this part here. So here it is now, ready to go. I put both of them in. I'm going to stake it, I believe, or put some rocks. I want to grow straight, so I'm not quite sure which one, but it will be under some grow lights in the house, in the sunroom. But this is it. It's much shorter, because before it was about probably a foot I should say, away from the sunroof ceiling. So that was that. It had to be cut because it would never have survived the winter without touching the ceiling. But this is it. And it looks sturdy, as you can see there. Well, not too sturdy, I should say. It looks straight, I should say, in the pot, but the wind is blowing it over now, so I'm going to straighten it again. But I'm going to stake it and see what happens. This is what I have now, guys. As you can see, it is still tall. This is a foot. Then I have my 5 feet 4 inches with this thing right here. But what the most important thing is, though, that was able to cut it down and have this thing root, the entire thing root there, because it's no longer, it's there, it's sturdy now. And then this thing right here actually produced new buds. So there's the 1, there's the 2, and then there is that 3 that will never focus for me in the back, and I hope there's no more. These just came out. This thing was cut down about a month ago, and so there they are. In fact, I thought this was dead until about a week ago when I saw this bigger one there. Then I saw this one today, and I guess that one came out too. But this is just in it. When you have that very tall house plant, and sometimes I did want to give it away the first time I had to cut it down, but I didn't. I just had to cut it, and it did survive. So there it is. So you can cut down certain house plants. This one I think belongs to the yucca family, and I was able to cut it down, have it root, and then have both. I was going to throw this away, by the way. Have both sections actually come back. So I did throw out one the last time, and now I'm quite sure I threw out 2 live plants. So this is it here, and that is it there. So guys, you can go from having a plant that is standing 7 feet in your house, a 7-foot plant, and then compared to what it is now, and it is 5 something now, 5 around 6 with the pot and everything else, the soil and everything else in it. But at least it's not, reaching towards the ceiling, and it's manageable. So this magnificent size is still there, but it's not as that extravagant as it was before, taking up all that space. And then my fear was it was going to hit the ceiling sooner or later, and then I'm going to have to figure out what to do. But there it is. So you can tame your house plants, guys, and this one is very well manageable now. And now I have not one plant, but now I have 2 plants in the pot, and this one's going to give me 3 yucca plant. Okay, and so that will be good. Okay, guys, have a good one. I hope you enjoy what you saw today, and I will talk to you another time. Bye.